gone to work with the Alkalolu and the Sefolu. We have even gone to the extent of inviting the governor of West Coast Region on our weekly radio program at West Coast Radio, and the paramount chief. We have also sent a letter of invitation to the Sefo of Combo South. This is just to make sure that we appease. Appease here means we settle down those who are agitated and those who misunderstand the whole exercise. The whole exercise is to see what is on the ground, what is to be corrected, and everything will be done in a way that will be legal. That's right.
Exactly.
So it's very important. We talk to them and we show them that this is an exercise that we are comfortably doing with our stakeholders like the National Roads Authority, Physical Planning, the Ministry of Regional Government, Lands and Traditional Rulers, the local governments on the ground, like the Governor of West Coast Region and Sefolu and Alkalolu, and the people who may have been encroaching into the tourism development area. So there is always a way out.
Good. Now here I'm seeing normalizing all incomplete structural developments on the TDA. It might require some engagement. How are you into engaging stakeholders? Especially those who could be possible illegal encroachers.
Ibrahim, what I want to say before talking about what you just asked, what I wanted to elaborate on is we are talking about the demarcation and the objective being to re-establish the boundary of the tourism development area. What I want to say is this is actually saying that there was already a boundary.
There's already a boundary.
And there was already something that was established.
But it's not the first time a boundary is being defined.
A boundary is being defined. Now, the reason why we are doing this one now is because we have realized that some of the things have not been visible. And we're talking about the demarcating. It means it has been demarcated before. And if we are establishing the boundary, it means that the boundary has been established before. And that takes me to what Kebe was saying. First, people have to know what we mean by tourism development area. Tourism development area, actually, as the name implies, is a reserved area for tourism development purposes. And what is important here to understand is that having a TDA or having a reserve or even a protected area happens everywhere. It's just about government seeing something that should be reserved or preserved and then saying, okay, we want to keep this for a particular purpose, for now and for the future
development.
Because the reason why I wanted to elaborate on this is to also look at the importance of tourism
exactly.
to the Gambian economy. We are aware that tourism is one of the key sectors of the economy of the Gambia.
Yes.
Like, for example, we're talking about foreign exchange earning. Tourism is the largest foreign exchange earner in the economy. Tourism is also the second largest employer of people. And tourism contributes about 16% of the GDP. Sometimes some people will even refer to it as the goose that lays the egg for the Gambia. Sometimes people will say it is the oil of the Gambia. So therefore, any attempt or endeavor to promote or safeguard the development of that particular sector now and also to conserve it for the future is important. So that was why like in 1970 this particular area was leased to central government as a reserve for tourism development purposes. As you can see, the clearest example that I'll give you is...
Now, it's been mapped out, set aside since 1960s, 70s.
Yes.
Are you increasing the area?
Yes.
The boundary? Are you increasing the boundary, or is it being left alone?
We are not increasing the boundary. It's still going to be as it is, and that is what I was coming to. It's 800 meters inland and stretching from Koto Bridge going all the way to Khartoum. Yes, we acknowledge that communities are living around some of those places, and we are putting their interest into consideration. But what is actually important is that the lease was done since 1969, between 1969 and 1970. And now, what we are actually doing is, as Mr. Kebe mentioned, if you are working in a place, for example, an area like the TDA, you need to have an inventory. That is why BAPET came up with a suggestion or a recommendation that if we are developing, we need to have an inventory of what developments are there. We need to have an information on what amount of land is left. And the purpose of the TDA demarcation exercise actually is to establish this boundary so that it will help people and then it will be visible.
Now this brings me out to my next question, the visibility of these boundaries here. The precedence, I am seeing here includes a person saying remove all billboards that did not follow the government mandated guidelines. So the mandated guidelines are of the government and procedures with the objective of implementing a new billboard standard. What does this mean in a sense? Can you put it into perspective?
Yes, what it means is right now we are working with the NRA. And one of the reasons why the NRA is involved in this particular thing is because of the fact that the mandate for the management of billboards has been transferred to the NRA. If you look at the TDA, let's say the battle-hardened highway, most people will not understand what the battle-hardened highway is. But normally people will refer to it as the Selegambia Road, and it will be from traffic light going to the airport. Exactly. Now the situation that we are having is, even if nobody tells you, you would observe that that is the first impression when you are coming into the country.
It's very important.
It is also in the tourism development area. And when you talk about tourism, we are talking about enhancing or promoting certain values. And part of that is the environment. Now, the situation we have is you have a lot of billboards coming up. It's such that it's not regulated and it's sort of becoming an eyesore. And as a result, during the status report, this particular thing was captured. And right now, we are trying to sensitize the people to understand that this is there for us.
So a new billboard standard is imminent, indispensable. Tell us, the National Roads Authority is actually mandated, responsible for billboards and yes, meeting their standards. How is that when it comes to this new redemarcation exercise?
Yeah, according to even our own list, we come to notice that some of the billboards were not in order, and some are illegal billboards which were erected without applying to NRA or the approval of NRA.
So we may be losing some of them.
It is hard to say, but some of them have to
be removed.
With the help of
the Department of Physical Planning and Housing. Now, billboards, of course. When it comes to billboards, we do have, scores of them lining our highways. Our thoroughfares entirely are decorated with billboards. Advertising everything. Tell us, a new billboard standard. How is that with this in this new demarcation exercise?
Well, I think it will be very good because before NRA was given the mandate was with physical planning. We were administering it. So, but we had our own standards that we were using and we were following, and then it was working well for us because let's say from the edge of the highway, we recommend at least 12 meters. 12 meters for the erection of the boards, and we even set standards for the heights of the boards.
About the longevity, we see seeing some of them really getting too old, and
that's what, yes, we had a clause in that draft how call it guidelines, which empowers us, or let's say which empowers us to remove any board that does not meet the criteria. And also in our letters of our allocation, we always state that the board is renewable at yearly basis.
And like Lamin said, it's also for environmental enhancement, and this beauty, help to beautify the place, give some image.
If after the expiry of the permit, the person comes to renew, you'll definitely have to inspect it to see whether that board has met the standard before you can renew it. Otherwise, you turn down the application.
Okay. Demarcation is the big issue being discussed here on the expedition with me, Ibrahim Ajata, exploring the characterful outlook of the Smiling Coast officials from the Gambia Tourism Board, National Roads Authority, Department of Physical Planning and Housing, as well as the